Hi folks, welcome to Just Outdoors. The next show on Just Outdoors is going to involve Dakota Washburn from L&M, and he's going to talk to you about electronics and boat electronics. Items that'll tell you where the fish are, fish finders, fish locators. GPS. There's all kinds of GPS, all kinds of names for them, but we have quite a display here, and he's going to go through that and explain the differences between them and the prices and what they do for you. And hope you watch. Just Outdoors is brought to you in part by
Jervalin Hardware Hank, Deer River. Jervalin Hardware offers a broad selection of paints and sporting goods and a complete line of plumbing and electrical supplies. Jervalin Hardware, 108 Main Avenue, Deer River.
Hi, my name is Tom Chapin, and welcome to Just Outdoors. This is a program to bring you the bare facts about the woods, the waters, and wildlife of Itasca County. And today, we got a special guest here, Dakota Washburn. You are an employee of a local L&M store here. Yep. And the reason we're at L&M today is we're going to be talking about fish locators, fish graphs, and all the electronics that are involved with the modern boat today out on the waters, because it seems like it's almost a necessity now. Yeah. Folks have, when they buy the boat, brand new boat, or they're going to upgrade their boat, they want to have something in there that they can look for fish. Right. And I'm not real familiar with a lot of these things. I don't use a lot of this, but you're supposedly kind of like the expert here.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, Tom.
Well, we'll find out today. You're going to go through these and tell the folks kind of what's involved with them, and what they can do with them. I mean, if nobody's ever purchased one of these or had one of these, we're going to let them understand a little more about what actually they can do for you. Okay. And tell us just a little bit about yourself.
No, I've been working here for 2.5 years. I've been over in sporting goods for about 2 years now. I struck an interest in it because this is where I buy all my local, hunting, fishing, camping stuff. Grew up in northern Minnesota here my whole life. Oh, fished these lakes, hunted these woods, and all that.
So you're a local boy here?
Oh, yeah.
Well, you got a pretty good job then. If you're involved with equipment that you can use the outdoors. So you hunt and fish. And
I know it's kind of hard working here with all this stuff, because then it's like, oh, I could use that in my tackle box, or I need that for my hunting, supplies. But
this is one item we're going to talk about here, and boy, I'll tell you, folks, when you talk fishing, it seems like with folks they're always talking about their locators and what they can do and what they've seen out there. And boy, when you compare that to 20 years ago, 15, even 10 years ago. Yep. It's a whole different program. Yep. And these things upgrade all the time, don't they?
Oh yeah, every year.
Every year, so you really don't know exactly what's coming. Right. I don't know what else can come, but it seems like it surprises you what these things can do. Yep. So, electronics. So we're going to be talking, folks, about electronics today, what you can put in your boat. Ice fishing, too. Yep. You can use these for ice fishing.
A lot of them do it.
Just take them out, portable type thing.
Right.
Or put them on
if you know how to read them, then you're good.
You know how to read them,
Yep.
So they all come with course instructions, and you better spend some time on that and everything. Right. Well, you got a really good display here at the store here, and there's a lot of different retail stores around that have displays like this. We just happened to pick L&M today, and so let's take a look at what you have here, and I'll try to ask some questions here as best I can, but I'll go off you more than anything.
Sounds good.
Tell us, let's start out with maybe the cheapest.
Okay.
Because when folks get into something like this, they want to not spend a lot of money to start with, so they can upgrade from then on. So
Right.
what do we have here?
Well, we got the Piranha Max by Humminbird here.
Okay, Humminbird. Tell us about that. So that's just one of the
That's just one of the
companies.
3 that we carry.
You
We
got
carry
Humminbird,
Humminbird, Lowrance, and Garmin.
Lowrance and Garmin.
Yep.
Okay, this is Humminbird.
Yep. So you got a 4.3-inch display screen. The only thing it's going to give you is its sonar, which is basically the most basic one you can get.
Sonar.
Yep, sonar, which is just going to give you this view here.
Okay.
You can have the fish ID on to show where fish are. The bad thing about, or one of the bad things about the fish ID is that it can give you false information. So more than likely you're going to have it on to where it's just going to show you arcs.
Okay.
It'll give you a better reading.
Arcs, you mean just the bottom configuration?
Well, the arcs will be like where the fish are. It'll actually just be an arc if you're actually moving at a little bit of a speed.
Okay. Just to start out,
Yep.
what are we looking at here?
We're looking at, we got the depth right here, which would be your contour here. You got the water temp, and then all this stuff here is just literally clutter. And then you can pick out the fish on like the fish ID, or you can actually pick out arcs if you have it on the arc.
Okay, so these are the depth readings
Yep.
of the fish.
Yep.
And so as you're moving along in the boat,
Yep.
this works.
Correct.
I mean,
It'll work underneath too. But
okay.
it won't be as much of like arcs if you have it on the arc option. It'll be more of like a straighter line.
Okay.
That makes sense. And then,
Alright.
yep, the prices or the
Yep.
numbers there, the depths that the fish are in this depth range.
Okay.
So,
So that's your basic item, and this is $100.
yep, $100. You
You
can throw it
can
in
get
your
yourself
boat.
started.
Right. All you need is a battery to hook it up to. A lot of
That's
people
it.
hook it up to their boat battery, or you can hook it up to a 12-volt battery, just like
Okay.
you can use for ice fishing. Vexilar battery.
A smaller battery then.
Yep.
Okay.
A lot more compatible.
Yeah.
You can, move it around more.
So you can carry this along, or you can mount it on something. I
Correct.
suppose people do. What do they normally do with ice fishing with something like this? They
Ice
mount it on
fishing,
something?
yep, they'll mount it kind of on, like a Gensback or the Shuttle by Markham and stuff. So
Okay. So that's basic, and that'll tell you the depths and generally where the fish are and
correct.
so on. And tell you size of fish?
Size of fish would just indicate, if you're on
size
the
of
fish,
the-
it would be the size.
Size of the
So-
fish that you can see here. The
Yep,
item here.
yep.
Okay. All right.
So it's not going to show you like, oh, yep, this is a walleye or this is a crappie.
right,
It'll
right,
just show
yeah.
kind of,
Sure.
the size. So
Gives us a chance for a person to guess at what's down there, and
Yep.
it's not specific.
right.
So, all right, that's the starting one. What do you got next here?
Well, do we want to go down to Lowrance or do we want to keep going with Humminbird?
Let's go down to the different. I suppose let's go down to here. I mean, this is the cheaper.
Yep, this is
part of
the cheaper one of the Lowrance. We sell it for $88.88. Again, it's just going to give you your basic sonar. Right now, you can't really tell because it's in simulation mode.
Yes.
Once you get out on the water, this is going to look completely different. You'll still have the depth. You'll still have the, the voltage or
Yeah.
the water temp. And then it also has an ice fishing flasher mode,
Oh,
which
okay.
would be a plus over like the Humminbird. And you're spending, $10 less.
Yeah. And
So-
why is the flasher better during ice fishing?
A lot of people don't know how to read the sonar during ice fishing. The flasher, to me, is a lot easier, but I've grown up with flashers my whole life, so I know what I'm looking
So
at.
flasher, you can see your jig down there, your item down there.
And again, it's in simulation mode, so it's
Sure.
going to be kind of hard. Usually you'll have a red mark up above here
Mm-hmm.
indicating the top, and then however deep you are will be another solid red line. Anything above that, if it's a red mark, it indicates a fish. If you can actually see your jig going down, and because it's right under the transducer, it'll be solid red. And then if it's green or if it's yellow, it usually means a fish is nearby in that cone, because the cone is about, I want to say it's like 80 degrees.
Okay, so the
and then-
deeper the water, the farther you're going to see a fish
Correct.
away, right?
Yep.
So,
Yep.
and that can be adjusted,
It
that
can be
cone, or
adjusted.
not?
It should be able to be adjusted. I know when you move up, you can go different kilohertz and stuff. So that's
Mm-hmm. Okay.
always a
Well, there we go.
So-
There's two different brands, and depends on what you're looking for. So
Right,
each
right.
brand has specifics, right? So
You
you
bet.
want to look through
Yep.
each item and see what would be best for you.
Yep.
So,
And it's not
okay.
always about the cost, because some people might just
Yeah.
want that sonar.
Right.
Some people might not see the point in buying,
Beautiful.
one with the
Okay.
with the ice fishing unit.
Sounds
so.
good. Okay, now that's the least one of these items can do for you,
Right.
and they're going to get more and more
Yeah.
here. So
And
what's
then-
next?
The Garmin over here, which is the Striker 4, it's a new unit this year. We brought in a Garmin. It's more known in the southern states. This one here will give you your sonar, which will be right there. Again, you're going to see arcs. You're going to see the bottom. You got the feet. You got the temperature. The one that this has over the other two is actually how fast you're going, because some people like to troll at a certain speed,
Yeah.
drift at a certain speed. It'll also tell you the time. You have to set the
Okay.
time, and then it'll tell you like what time of day it is.
Will these other ones, the other two you show, will they cut off at a certain speed when you're?
They will
Trolling?
have trouble reading.
have trouble
I'm not
reading.
talking like trolling wise though. You almost have to be going with the big motor, because sometimes the transducer just can't keep up with them.
Okay, well, what kind of speed are you talking about when
Well,
they kind of cut
usually
out?
people I like to troll for walleyes around anywhere from like 5.5 miles an hour to 2.5 maybe.
Yeah.
2.5 is getting pushing it. The slower, or I guess the more mid speed would
Okay.
pick up on fish better, especially for trolling. But some fish like it faster, some fish like it slower. Just depends on their mood.
Will these read the depth at high speed?
Some of them will, but the ones that I haven't had any really good luck with them with the
Okay.
big motor.
Okay.
It'll show depth with some most of the time. I guess it just depends on how far your transducer is on your boat.
Are there some that are made that will show speed?
I do believe so.
Okay.
Not 100% on that, but
Okay, but if you're going at 30 miles an hour, what you're reading is a lot of it's false, I suppose.
I would assume so, yeah.
You just won't keep up with it.
Right.
Okay. All right. Good.
And then another thing that this would have is if you push back, it's got the flasher option there. Same thing with like the Lowrance
okay.
there. Shows you depth, shows you the bottom there, the top there.
Yeah.
If you go back, you can do split screen option, which looking at it, it looks the same. Not 100% sure on what the difference between that would be. And then if you hit back, this one actually has a quick draw map. So if you have that, lake in the boondocks, smaller lake, the one that you like to fish, hometown lake, and it doesn't have one of these maps on it.
And we're going to be
you-
talking about the maps here.
Yep,
later.
yep.
Okay.
You could actually, you have like 2 million acres of free data storage on here, and you could actually quick draw your own map. You could
Oh.
actually make your own contours for that unit.
Oh.
So, and
Just
then
by going to the lake and drawing the map.
yep,
on the
it'll
lake.
have like a green circle. If you're going
Yeah.
like the right speed, it'll
Yeah.
go, like 10, 15 feet out. And then if you go too fast, the circle will turn red, and then it won't map. So you have to be going at a pretty decent speed. And then you can just go over the lake, and then every time you actually go over that spot,
Yeah.
it'll upgrade.
So
and it'll keep-
you can draw a map for future references when you go
correct.
back. Draw
Or
your
if
own
you
map.
want to see like your lake contours
Yeah.
on that specific lake, I mean, that
Yeah.
the DNR maps might show that it's 30 feet, but you hit 60 last summer.
Okay.
That's an option too, because you could actually draw it out,
Wow.
pinpoint some areas. Like, well, okay, I want to go to this depth. I'm going to troll for this species of fish, or I'm going to use a bait caster. Cast in.
What we're talking about here
So-
is a high-grade computer.
Basically,
It is.
yep.
they're,
Yep.
they're a computer for the boat
Right.
with showing visual signs.
Yep. Yep.
All right. Okay, we showed the three, the cheapest of the different brands.
Yep. Yep.
What's coming next?
Well-
What can the next one do that these can't? That's what we're after here.
This one here is the Helix 5 sonar. Again, you got the sonar option. The one thing that this can have is a Lake Master chip, such as
Show us what that is. What
this
what are we
one
looking at
here. It'd be the Lake Master Minnesota This will show just about every lake in Minnesota, unless if it is a smaller lake that they couldn't get to, whether it's, it's a portage lake or
but
it's just a smaller lake that they couldn't get into. It's a $100 retail price. You can get the Lake Master Plus, which the only difference between the two is one has aerial view, which how I explain it is if you're looking on Google Earth, you could actually go stand on the road and see like what's in front of you. You could actually come into the store and you can see like how it was when they mapped it. And that's what it's going to be like when you're out in the boat. You're sitting in the boat, you could actually see the shore, you can see the trees out in front of you.
Oh.
That'd be the only plus above like the regular Minnesota map.
Okay. But that can change too from year to year.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So you're
And then Humminbird also offers a ton of different other options for, for mapping. It's not just Minnesota. They have like a Nebraska one. They have like a North and South Dakota one. And then Lake of the Woods and Rainy River. That's a big one for up here, because this actually doesn't have that option to have Lake of the Woods.
So there's a chip here that you insert.
Yep, it'll come in, it'll actually have a macro chip and then a micro chip. The micro chip is what goes into your unit. The macro chip is just what you can actually hook it up to your computer.
Oh.
And save it basically.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
A lot of people, I know we've had quite some people actually bring it back in saying this is the wrong chip, and then you just pull it out and then they.
Okay, so there's two chips involved in this.
Yep. One is just inserted inside the other one, so before you start the day or before you put it in, you just got to take the one out and put it in your unit.
Okay, you mentioned something about this one. Let's go back here quick, about southern part of the country. Why is that different?
It's bigger because they use it for mostly kayak fishing, on the ocean. Garmin is just from the southern state. This one here just has the GPS, but if you go up to this eco map, the chart, if you actually go down to this chart, and if you zoom out, once it loads, it actually shows, well, right now it shows we're in Minnesota.
Yeah.
But it's actually down in like Florida, where it's based out of. And all you got to do is zoom it out, go up to Minnesota, and there you go. That would be a plus to this one. This one has all the maps built into it, so you don't have to buy the $100 chip each time you want to have a different state, a different, Lake of the Woods, Rainy River, because it's all right into this already.
Okay.
So,
okay, that's the difference then.
Yep.
Now you got this upgrade, so that you got. You showed you showed what's different between this and the cheaper one. What's next?
Well, back to this one. This one will give you. It is an upgrade from this one here. This one will have down imaging. Down imaging is just a better reading of like the bottom.
A better reading.
Better reading of the whole thing.
It's more accurate.
More accurate. Yep. You could actually pick out rocks.
Really?
The difference between this one, because you could actually do a split screen option, you gotta just add the page on this one until you actually, because it's in simulation mode, it'll keep clearing until you actually not have it on simulation mode, if that makes sense. So if we were to want sonar and we were to want down imaging, we'd have to save it. But then the next time I shut it off and turn it back on, I'll have to do that again until I'm not in simulation mode. So you can compare the two. A lot of people like to look at the two because this one's more in depth, like I was saying. This one, you can kind of see the contours and stuff like with the rocks. This one is just a more accurate reading. This will show more of an arc for a fish when you're trolling. This will show more of a brighter dot. The more brighter the dot, the better the reading is. The bigger the fish usually is.
Okay.
So.
All right.
That's the thing with down imaging. You can have this different screen, and then you could always change the colors too to your liking. It'll have a few different options on that. So
there's a lot of difference here between these two.
Yep. And then also with this one, between the last year's model, this one here actually has all the lakes built into it also, along with the Garmin here, or the Garmin's here.
Yeah.
That would be one thing that I would say Lowrance has over Humminbird. when it comes to lake maps, because you don't have to spend the extra $100 to get the lake maps.
Right in there.
But back to Humminbird now. Humminbird makes Lake Master, and I would say Lake Master is probably the better lake maps on the market.
Okay.
They're more accurate.
Okay.
I know with mine, I've been told that I've been in, 20 feet on the actual mapping, but I'm actually in like 18, or I'm actually in 15.
Okay.
So, but
Right.
you can go back to the mapping right here, and you can figure out what the contour is from just from looking at this. I mean, if it says on the map that it's 15 feet, but your depth here says it's 20 feet, all you got to do is kind of push yourself up a little ways, and then you'll be set.
Do a lot of weeds in the bottom of the lake affect the accuracy of these?
On the sonar part, I would say yes.
On the sonar part?
Yep.
Okay.
Like all this stuff isn't all fish. This stuff is
Right.
all basically clutter. Weeds, if it's like submerged weeds, you'll see it up. On the down imaging side, on the other hand, it'll show more in depth. That's where you get the brighter dots, because a weed isn't going to show a brighter dot because it's not, bouncing off the fish and
Right.
coming
Yeah,
back
it's not
and reading.
dense.
Right.
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 Denser is probably more accuracy.
Yep.
So, okay. When this thing looks down on the lake,
Yep.
and you got other ones that we're going to be talking about that look sideways, but this is what you want here. Okay.
Okay.
Next.
We don't have it in stock right at the moment, but same thing right here, Helix 5 down imaging, G2 GPS. It's got the GPS. It'll have the down imaging, same thing as that. It'll have the split screen option and the GPS part, which that's just so you know where you're going. Also, you can throw a chip in it and go from there. If we go back a step, this one here will just give you the chirp option, which that's where you have the chip compatibility. This one here will just give you your sonar. So it's kind of like a lower end one. Just give you your sonar, but you can throw a GPS map or the GPS chip in it.
Boy, I tell you, when you start in looking at these, you've never owned one,
Yep,
you really have some options here.
correct.
Okay.
A lot of people come in, they just want that plain,
Sure, just to
sonar. They
start
want
with,
a
sure.
cheap one. They know that it's $100.
Yep.
If they don't like it, it's $100 rather than spending,
Right.
$200-300. Once you get up into here, you just keep upgrading as you go.
Well, the more you
Screen gets
use
bigger.
anything, the more you use it, the more you're going to get familiar, and the more you want to upgrade probably in the future. So,
Right.
yeah. Okay, as we go on here,
Well, we can jump up to this one here, which this one here is the chirp side imaging, down imaging. Right now it's the Lowrance that we carry. That would be our highest
down
compatibility.
imaging now.
Down imaging would be the maps that I showed you before. Side imaging is a little bit more difficult to read, like in my opinion. You got to look at it like you're actually looking down and out. So instead of the fish looking like a fish, it's going to look more like the top view of a fish, if that makes sense. Or
Okay.
anything off to the side, you can actually pick out some, crappies in a tree, or walleyes probably in the weeds,
Okay, let's go over that one more time. Give us the reason somebody would want to get side optioning over down optioning. This is the first one that you had that had side optioning, right?
Correct.
Okay. What would be the advantages of getting side
Honestly, I don't know.
Okay, well,
I don't know why they would pick side imaging over down imaging.
you'd have to learn to read it.
Correct.
It's a lot different, but
And it's kind of hard to understand when you're talking about it or when
Sure.
you're listening.
yeah.
But yeah,
When they say side imaging, is it actually imaging from the side? Is it going out parallel with the
well,
top of the
when you
surface
go
of the water?
down straight, a certain, the whole boat width,
Yes.
and then you go out a certain feet, you're not just looking down, you're looking, out.
Okay.
And I've seen some pictures where they actually seen a turtle go underneath the boat, and the turtle looks like a turtle because the turtle is flat. So it looks like a turtle on this side, and then when it goes over to this side, you could actually see it, the whole
I
body,
see.
because it's not swimming on its side.
So,
So-
what you would suggest to folks is that you really have to study it and learn it
Yes.
and take it out and really work at it
Yep.
to incorporate the side imaging with the top imaging.
Correct.
Okay.
If you know what you're looking at, then you'll be set. If you're just getting into it, it's going to take
Yeah.
a lot of practice. I know, same thing with just,
Well, I
then
think
you
I've
have-
talked to people that, boy, side imaging is everything now, and they wouldn't be without it. And so
Right.
they've jumped to that degree of understanding and the need for it for their purposes.
yep.
So, all right.
So-
Wow. So you're looking at some pretty good money here, though, aren't you?
oh yeah,
Something like that.
$600, but then again, all the maps are already into it.
Yeah.
So that's not a $100 map, you know. Comes with cover and all, so
Okay.
you're pretty much set to go all the, you know, again, all you need is a battery.
Okay. So these maps that were made by probably the DNR, right?
That would be my guess, yes.
Yeah, and so they're probably upgrading those continually.
Correct.
So the chip you buy, you might have to buy another chip
Yep.
sometime down
And
the line.
they have different versions of the chips. I don't know. This one here is version 7. They'll just keep going with the versions. They'll make them better and better each year.
Okay. Of course, the lake bottoms aren't going to change, but
Right.
there's probably differences, subtle differences here that go along with time
Yep.
and the
Yep.
change in the lake conditions. What about light water compared to dark water? Are these affected by that at all?
Not that I've seen with my
Okay.
unit. I usually am in both waters,
Yeah.
so
I mean, there's some pretty dark, acidy stained lakes around the area, and this wouldn't have any effect
yeah, I
on
don't
that.
believe so.
Okay, because you're actually just looking at the depth and stuff.
Right.
Okay, what else you got?
Well, being that we're on side imaging, we could jump up to this one here, which is a Helix 7. You get the bigger screen, you get a little bit more options with it. Also, the chirp option, so you can throw a chip in it.
So you're looking at the Hummingbird and this here, about compatible,
Yep.
pretty much?
Pretty much. Again, you got $600 for this one, and then you got $700 for that one. But then you have to buy a $100 lake map, so before you get on the lake, you're $800
Okay,
about, you know.
okay, and have you used all three of these brands?
I haven't, no.
You haven't, okay.
I've only used the Lowrance Hook 5.
What's the history of return on some of these? I mean, do you know anything about that?
The only time that people would usually return them, to us at least, is if there's actually something wrong with the unit. If there's something wrong with the unit, we usually just send it back to, you know, Hummingbird.
Sure.
We return it, exchange it, do what we need to do to, you know, please the customer, and then we figure it out from there.
So if a person's going to purchase one of these, he's just kind of guessing at the brand,
Basically,
pretty much.
I know. I mean, if your buddy has this one, he's probably gonna, you know,
Yeah.
persuaded towards that one. If you know, you talk to me, I might tell you to go with a different one.
Yeah.
A lot of people, you know, they're either Lowrance or they're even Hummingbird, just because of what they've grown up with, what they've
Right.
had in their boat since, you know, since the get-go. We're going to start seeing a lot more Garmins, but because they are new this year, we haven't, you know, we've been asked about them a lot in the past, but because now we have them, now it's just another option.
Interesting.
So-
Okay. So when you purchase one of these, you got to think about what you're buying, and then also the lake maps.
Yep,
Because not all of them have lake maps in them.
correct.
And do all of these have lake maps that you can purchase? This is just one brand, right?
That is just specifically from Hummingbird.
Hummingbird,
If you look on the back here, it'll say Minn Kota plus Hummingbird. So yeah, I would say this is just specifically for Hummingbird. Navionics, on the other hand, is more of a Lowrance brand.
Oh,
But
okay.
you can do Hummingbird, you could do Lowrance, you can do
Oh.
Garmin. You know, you can do a
So
whole
this will
bunch of
fit
them.
into the three brands.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
The one positive I would say about, you know, Navionics is that, again, when you buy one chip, this is the northern region of the United States.
Okay, that makes
So
a
you
difference.
have Minnesota, you have Wisconsin, Missouri, or not Missouri, Michigan, excuse me, Iowa, South Dakota, and North Dakota, just on this one chip.
Let's talk about Canada for a minute here.
Okay.
If you're going to Canada, what do you suggest? on something like this?
If you're going specifically to like Lake of the Woods, I would probably suggest the Humminbird, just because, again, with their background, they're made by Humminbird. The better maps. This map or this chip is specifically for Lake of the Woods and Rainy River.
Okay.
So,
But if you're going farther north into Canada, what do you do there?
I would probably still push towards that one.
Okay.
But when you look at like the Lowrance and you look at the Garmin, they're already on there.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to spend the extra money, then you have those options for a little bit less.
Are there lake maps involved in northern Canada lakes or middle Canada lakes? I mean, have they mapped their lakes up there? Did they have them on maps? Do you know?
Well, I know Lake of the Humminbird does.
Oh, okay.
You could actually go on humminbird.com and find a lake, and you can see what each chip will offer.
Okay.
It'll show you every single lake. And I know like Lake of the Woods is a big one because most people that are from here that want a decent, really good fishing trip, they'll go up there, whether it's for walleyes, pike, perch.
So the pre-work with these you can do at home on your computer. You can find out, that'll match you up with what you want to do.
Yep.
And it'll give you an idea of what these things are capable of.
Correct.
And so that using your home computer to start with when you first buy one of these is probably a pretty good idea.
Yep.
On that. So
definitely.
I see you got some like this one here now. What are we looking at here?
Well,
what are we looking at? These are some pretty spendy items.
Okay, so before we jump up to the 9 here, we'll go up to this 7 here and this 7 here. Helix 7 DI, which is down imaging, side imaging. So again, it's just that down imaging option, the better readings. Side imaging will give you that down and out. This one, the G2N, means you can hook it up to your trolling motor, and you could actually have it on, follow the contour lines. You can actually have a spot lock, and it'll, you can hook it up and you're set.
And stay right where you want to go and a certain depth of water, mainly what they go by, isn't it?
Yep. On some of them, yes.
Okay.
Yep. Because some of them you could actually hook up right to your trolling motor. If you want to stay at 12 feet, it'll bring you right through 12 feet. If spot lock, if you catch a fish here and you want to stay there, you hit the spot lock and it'll keep you right there.
Right there, no matter what the wind conditions.
No matter what the wind conditions are. You don't need anything else.
Have you used one of those personally?
I haven't, no.
You haven't, okay.
No, I would like to, but it's a little bit out of my budget.
Yeah,
so.
okay.
That's the only difference between like the G2, which is like there, and then the G2N.
Okay,
so
interesting.
Networking, you just got to hook them up with the right cable. Humminbird is with Minn Kota, and then Lowrance is more for like motor guide. But if you have a universal transducer on your trolling motor, you could actually hook up a Lowrance to your Minn Kota.
Okay.
But you have to have that universal
on your trolling motor.
Transducer.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Most people have that, don't they? I think on their trolling motors.
The trolling or the transducer?
Yeah.
Some people, yeah.
Some, okay.
A lot
maybe
of people
not
just,
most, but
a lot of people just put the transducer in the back of the boat.
Okay.
And then some people will also buy 2 units that are the same, or 2 units that are similar, and then they can hook it up with an Ethernet cable, which what you're seeing here is what you could be seeing on the front of your boat.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to follow that, with your little controller, you could actually be in the front of the boat, but seeing what's on the screen.
This is all involving GPS too, isn't it?
Yep.
I mean, you got to have that. That's what makes it work.
Yep.
Okay. So you're using satellites here.
Yep.
Okay.
But
interesting.
very technology.
Well, so you're going to pay for it though if you're going to want all this.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's just the way it is.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
And then when you jump up to Helix 9, this will give you mega down imaging now. It's just a bigger screen, bigger option here.
Bigger screen, bigger options, more options.
A little bigger, you can actually see the difference just because of how big the screen is.
Okay, what are we looking at here? Just go to one screen and tell us what we're looking at.
I'll start right. Okay, I'll start right there. So that's your sonar. You at the bottom here, this is the contour line, and then all these arcs are probably like bait fish because it's not a very good reading. The best reading will give you is like has a little red in it, little yellow in it.
Okay.
That's just
You're
the bigger
looking
the
for
fish,
that.
the bigger the reading that it has on it.
Okay.
All this stuff here is either floating weeds
Clutter,
or
whatever.
it's bait fish or
There's a lot of stuff
not
in
a
the water.
fish, basically.
It's gonna, gonna transmit. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
If we go to here, that's
What's
your
this?
that's your down imaging.
That's
So you
your-
got a better view of the bottom. Here's a tree, you know, a couple trees. Here's a couple rocks. Right here, again, you might have to adjust it to your liking, but you can actually pick out the brighter dots for, you know, bigger fish.
Okay.
So
All right.
this one here is just a split screen
screen,
option.
show
That's where
you
you can
both.
compare them. See how you can see like that tree there and tree there, and you can kind of see it there.
Okay.
So that's where
this
you're
matches
getting.
this right here.
Yep, that's where you're getting the better reading with this
Here
one.
we go. Here's the difference here.
Yep. And you just went from about 38 feet to 28 feet, just like that.
All right.
That's where you'd probably want to focus on if you were fishing like walleyes.
Okay.
Might be a little bit deep, but they'll like that drop off. This here is just two different frequencies of the sonar unit. That there is just your GPS. You know, right now it's going to show you the lake contours just because it's on simulation. You got to throw the chip in, and then it'll give you that option.
Give you that option on all those different spots.
Yep. And this right here is probably a well-known lake. These all here
Yeah.
could be, you know, like axes, like right there and right there. And then all of these other ones could be like buoys or could be, you know, stuff that they mapped.
Yeah. So you got an interstate highway going right through there.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
Okay.
Some people use this like on their snowmobile even
Sure.
in the wintertime
Oh.
just to navigate.
Sure.
Because it'll give you,
Okay.
you know, certain things here and there.
All right.
Yep, that's just a split screen option for
Wow.
that too. There's again a GPS, more of how, you know, where you're at on the lake. This is more like an overhead view. This is like right where you are. And split screen option again, you know, sonar, GPS, down imaging GPS. This thing here is like the navigation. I'm pretty sure when you're going, you could actually pinpoint a, you know, thing. It'll actually show you like how big the ring is and how big
Yeah.
the range that you want to
Also
go.
direction too
Yep.
on that. Okay.
Right there's, if you're wanting to stay, you know, in a straight line, you know, you can tell when you're getting off the line and stuff.
Wow.
That I
Unbelievable.
believe it could be fish.
Just
I'm not
what they
100% sure,
Yeah.
but
Just incredible what that thing can do.
yep. And now you got three different split screen options. You got the GPS, you got the sonar, and then you got the down imaging.
Okay. Gotta try it.
So, one thing I could say about this is it'll drain your battery a little bit faster
Sure.
because you're pulling three frequencies compared to like just
Bigger
the one.
screen.
Correct.
Yeah, you're
Yep.
putting power into putting that big screen up.
Yep. So you might want to hook this one up to your boat motor.
Okay.
Little 12-volt battery might not last that long,
Sure.
just because of how much energy you're pulling.
All right.
And then there you got your speed, you know, the water temp, and so on.
Everything. What do we got here?
Helix 10.
That's the big boy.
This is one of the big boys. I know they make up to like a 14, and that basically looks like you got a big flat screen TV on the front of your
Okay.
boat.
So
Side imaging.
$700 to $600 difference here.
Yep.
So
Side
what are we
imaging.
looking at? Side imaging.
That's a big one. The difference between down imaging and side imaging basically has both. The
Okay.
down imaging just has a down imaging, so that's where you're paying.
So
and
you're
then you got
paying
the
for
bigger
side
screen.
imaging on all these an extra 30-40%.
Basically, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So if you know, it's probably not going to show you very much just because it's on. It's not actually in the water.
Right. Right.
But it'll basically show you what we
Okay.
have there, just
So-
with another option.
So really, when you're looking at the difference here, they look pretty much the same, but the side imaging on this one is
Yep.
what you're paying for.
Yep.
Okay. Well,
And then when you jump up, or when you go from a Garmin, 63 to a 73, the main difference is touchscreen. Also, another cool thing I would say that they have over any of these other units would be the pan optics. That's a pretty nice, option there. It's
Pan
something
optics.
new. Yep. And now they even got like pan optics live, to where you could actually pick out the size of the fish. You could actually
Really?
almost guess what the fish is because of how good it is.
huh.
The live view, like that there, you could actually pick out fish, which are right here. Right now it's just gonna look like a blob of red. Right there is where you could actually cast your line out, watch your line drop, and you could actually watch the fish come up and take it. Panoptics, I would say, would be a good option for ice fishing too. So if you're looking for that school of crappies, you can drill one hole, you can look that way and all the way around and see, okay, well, there's a group of crappies over there, there's a marking fish over there. Instead of drilling 30 holes
That would
and
be,
checking each
I was gonna
time,
see. Yep.
right
Save
there.
you a lot of time.
Yep.
That'd be the option you'd want
Yep.
for that.
Panoptics, you gotta buy the Panoptics though. So you gotta buy the unit first, then you gotta buy the Panoptics on top of that.
Okay. Wow.
But
so
with the new Panoptics that just came out like recently, it's nothing is even
So
close.
we're
to
going to
it.
hear about Panoptics in the future
Yes.
a lot. That's going to be the next
This is going to be
word, nomenclature.
a lot of
huh?
people say it's cheating
Panoptics.
because
You got Panoptics.
because I'm
You're right up there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. I mean, other than that, you got
Yeah.
the free acreage for tapping
Sure.
your own lake. You got the down imaging. You got the whole thing there. So.
All right. Well, we're getting toward the end here, so I guess, is there anything else you want to kind of add here on all this, as far as what people want the most? It seems like you mentioned the cheaper ones to start out with.
Yep, just to start with, they want that thing, they want one that you can just throw in the water, see what's right there.
Are there people coming in that buy some of these higher grade ones that really don't know exactly a lot of them? Most of them are.
Most of them know what they want.
want.
They come in and they just, they might ask what's the difference between like the side imaging, down imaging.
Yeah.
Or they might ask, well, why is this one G2 and not G2N? Or what is the G2N? You know, if they want to hook it up to their trolling motor, they got to go with the G2N.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you're too young, but you remember the green box?
I've heard of them, yeah.
You've heard of the green box?
Yeah.
Well, that was really the thing when I was growing. Boy, there's something else. I'll show you the depth, this great big green box and Lawrence, and that was it. And I'm telling you, they have really, in the last 20 years, it's just been unbelievable what's going on.
And it's just
same with
keep getting
computers,
better.
Same thing. And that's what you got here. You got computers. You're taking a computer out in your boat or on the ice to assist you in finding the fish.
Yep.
No, you still have to go out there and you still have to dig a hole and you still have to do all these things.
It's
but,
not like it's, I want fish here and I'm going to catch a fish. You actually got to work for it.
I mean, you could sit at home and do that if you wanted to. But, so these are pretty much the options that are available for fishermen right now.
That we carry, yes.
That you carry, but there's probably other brands out there too?
There's other brands for one. The most known are Lowrance and Humminbird here. Garmin's pushing up in there. Even Lowrance, we don't carry nearly as much as what they carry. We just carry, 4 units.
Yeah, so there's a lot of different options that are available. That
you can get touchscreen, you can get the whole, side imaging, down imaging, whatever you basically can think of.
So,
and then here, Lowrance is totally different from the last year's Lowrances. Humminbird is basically all looks the same. We might throw in a few different options here and there, but
Okay.
So.
Well, I think we did it. We did as much as we could.
Right.
I mean, it's pretty technical.
Yep.
And in order to really understand, we're just giving a real soft image here of what we have, what's available. But if you just got to play with them.
Basically.
You got to come in and look at them. You got to read about them.
Yep. And you got to use them.
And use them.
Every time you go out there, you use them.
Just use them, and you get better and better at it. So.
Yep.
Excellent.
Pretty next thing you know, you're going to be catching fish here and there. So.
Well, thank you, Dakota. Appreciate all the information you provided here for the public for these, and a lot of things I didn't know about this, and I'm sure somebody picked some good facts up here.
Oh, I hope so.
On this, that's what it's all about. And thank you, folks, for watching Just Outdoors, and remember, stay informed.
Mm-hmm.